Hey everyone. So we just got done talking about the excessive product lines and their overlap that is causing a ginormous amount of bloat and fatigue within the players. And this time I want to sort of zero in on what's actually happened to the rarity identity within Magic the Gathering, because this is probably the biggest issue I have with the direction of the game. And I just want to take a look at booster packs. So I'm here on Gameology, which is one of the main LGSs. Well, it's online, so it's not really LGS that I shop from. So I just wanted to get the numbers for what's in each pack because it's been a while. So for instance, we've got collector boosters, we have set boosters, we have draft boosters, and I'm including jump start, because even if this is horrible. It's not really zoomed in. I don't think it's much in the sheen either. Since it's no Dominaria Brothers. I feel like this will do, because there was a jump start for Rexia, wasn't there? Anyway, this is a list of all the cards that are available, including the commander cards. I'm pretty sure Jumpstart still just pulls from the normal card base, so that's why I'm including them. Okay, so then we have common, uncommon, we'll just do UN, we'll just do U. And then I'm just going to do rare and mythics in one slot, because usually they're pulled as sort of one slot right here, 5. Okay, so in a collector boost pack, you get 15 cards, of which 5 are rare or higher, and then the others are sort of a mishmash. So we'll just split down the middle. We'll say 5, 5, and 5. Yeah, I know it's more skewed towards more common cards, but anyway, we'll do 5, 5, and 5. And then I love this little tag. So there's 1 to 3 extended art cards and a legion of other special treatments in every pack, and this is just awful. Oh, there's just way too many treatments for each card at this point. And the fact that they don't consistently stick with one. So obviously Etched was the new thing, and then Etched has gone through so many variations, and then they just piled more and more on it, and it's just, ugh. Where was I up to? Okay, so set booster. Set booster, you get, I could probably find the actual ones. Let me do MTG, it'll be easier. I can find the exact breakdowns. Jokes, it is right here in front of me. Is it there for... No, they didn't have it for the collectors. Anyway, so every pack includes 1 to 5 rares or higher. So, we'll lowball it, because the argument that I want to make is how much this is diluting the rarity pool. So do the low end of each. So 1, 3, and then you get the most common. So 7, does that work out? That's only 12 cards, right? So we're missing 1, and 1 lane card, so that's all 12, so that's perfect. Okay, and then we have draft. The draft... Oh, I remember when everything was just consistent. What is this? 1 or 2 cards rarity higher. Is this including the foil? That could be any rarity. No, because then 3 to 5. They're just getting loopy with it all, aren't they? 1, 3, and 8. But still, that's only 12 cards, so we're missing 3. So I guess we'll take the high ends of these, and that's fine. And then what about jump? What's the breakdown for jump? So you get 20 cards, 1 rare card designed, and 1 rare / mythic. So we'll say that's 2. 2 lands, so that leaves 16 cards split between common and uncommon. And I assume they're still sort of catered, so it's not an even split. So we'll just call it 9 and 9. So the point that I'm trying to make is, through this selection of products, they are essentially diluting and muddling the ratios of common to uncommon to rare that you would traditionally have, that's normally set within a card game. And because of this, it has essentially just created a ginormous amount of bulk, and it's in fact making even the majority of, say, rare cards and foiling bulk as well. The amount of bulk that Magic is creating to push these products, wouldn't it be so much cleaner if collector booster packs, instead of 15 cards, say it was 10 cards. Yeah, so you still get the 5 rares, but you get your common or uncommon have to be special treatment, and they completely get rid of foil cards in commons and uncommons, because that has just sunk foils. if we start from the beginning, I think it's Urza Saga, right? That was the first. What MTG set was the first foil? I'll do. Yeah, Urza's Legacy. Urza's Legacy was the first set available with foils. And to put it in perspective, first iteration of the game, you have just the 3 rarities. That's where everything is coming from. You have common, uncommon, and rare. Yeah? And then we got introduced to foils. This doubled everything, because now you have common foils, you have uncommon foils, rares, rare foil. And at this point you have mythics too, but again, I'm just going to put mythics with the rare section. Yeah? So the rarity distribution, or the probability of finding luxury cards, the higher end of the cards that actually are meant to have, monetary value attached to them and collectability. We've doubled that pool, because now even common foils, slot in between common and uncommon. Uncommon foils slot between uncommon and rare, or in some cases they're actually above it, because at the beginning they were uncommon. Now we're getting to the point where there's not only these 6 variations, but then there's, extended art. There is borderless. There is etched. There is, on a basis, I would probably say 5 to 6 variations for each rarity. So you have a common card and it comes in 6 iterations. Because each of these, if you just do, borderless and I don't know, extended art, we'll call that. So you have 3 base variations, but then each of them have their foil variations as well. So the rarity identity for Magic the Gathering has just doubled and doubled and doubled. It's compounded over and over again. And unlike money, it's not become more valuable. It has drastically fatigued players who do collect, players who sell, players who list all these products, because the amount of variations and your ability to digest a product that comes to you, any of these new sets that come out, to be able to understand every card in that set and their value. March of the Machine. Not only do you have those 6 base, because we know we've got borderless and where is it? Is this March of the Machine? Yeah, so we've got borderless, and do we have any other variation? Are they showing us? No, I guess not. But the point is, you've got 1 card name, and then you have 5 to 7 versions of that card to digest, to understand which is the hardest to get, which is the best to get, and they're not consistent between sets. That's the real crux of the issue. Every set changes what is the most rarest variety. For instance, Double Masters, not that I have it anywhere, Double Masters, we had the textured foil cards, yeah? That was the icing on the cake. That was the hardest cards to find, the best valued cards. If I go to Mana Box right now, just on my phone, what should you guys look at? You can look at Jumpstart. The awful lineup that is Jumpstart. Ugh. So if I go to, let's go to Phyrexia, or will be one. Elish Norn, of course, that's the easiest to look at. So the most expensive variation, which I can't even understand from this, is, I would assume it's Oil Slick, given the thing, although it's got the weird shiny. It's like the Galaxy Foil stuff. Yeah, so they introduced a new foiling type that was meant to be rare. And then a few sets later, they've canned it. They've moved it down to one of the lower and more common rarities, and introduced a new rarity for you to chase. And there is just no commonality between sets anymore. There is no understanding that I open this card, oh, it's shiny. Shit, which shiny is it? Which shiny is it? Because it makes a big difference. Because artwork alone, I mean, Elish Norn was decent. There is, a variety of artwork. A lot of cards don't get that luxury. They are the same artwork, just split between the 3 different types. Whether it's etched, slightly different frame, that a lot of people, it might go over the head, borderless, and normal. And this idea of rarity identity is what's really troublesome, because you can take a game, for instance, like Pokemon. Pokemon, you have V-Star. That's the new variation, right? So we had V-Max, we had V, and now we have V-Star. And you introduced it, and you were introduced to it at a point where it now becomes a staple. And because it's a staple, it becomes ingrained. This is what I'm looking for. This is the cards that I value as a collector. And Magic has lost that because you need to do a ridiculous amount of research to understand the breakdown of any set that comes out. You can't, if you don't have your finger on the pulse, you are completely lost. It's why I don't want to partake in Magic. I don't want to collect it because to me it's more of a headache than a fun hobby of opening a pack and understanding, oh, I got something really special, because it's not. Because between each set, what's special just drastically changes. And this is where I sort of want to zero back into Flesh and Blood, because I do have a worry that Flesh and Blood is going down this road, that it is releasing this rarity dispersion too quickly. So Flesh and Blood, we had Cold Foils and Rainbow Foils. Cold Foils were the big chase. They were essentially equivalent to extended art when they first came out in Magic. And then, of course, now we have stuff like this full art that's sort of extended but not extended. I forget what their terminology is. And we also have the Marvel cards. And one gripe that I do have with Flesh and Blood is the fact that Marvel cards, what they are, has no set understanding to it, which is, obviously what I'm griping about for Magic. Because Marvel cards, when they were first introduced, I honestly thought every card would be, two-faced. Every Marvel card was two-sided. One was the beautiful extended art, no text, nothing, and then the other side, minimalist text, and then the other side was the standard art. And then the rationale is that it's not the case. That's only for set cards that are meant to be double-sided. In fact, Marvel cards are this weird whatever they want to be per set. And as long as they stick to this limited number of rarity slots, I would be fine with that. So as long as we have normal, rainbow foil, cold foil, and then this Marvel slot, that can be whatever they come up with for that set. For instance, for Outsiders coming up, we've got these Codex cards that are, a nice sketch card done right. Because Magic sketch cards were god-awful. This is done in the style of sketch rather than just an unfinished, horrible product. And the other big thing that Flesh and Blood does right with this rarity is they don't overlap. This was particularly the case when First Edition and Unlimited were still separate, but it is still somewhat of the case with the new 2.0 format for Flesh and Blood boost boxes. Cards have set versions that they can come in, and there's not a huge amount of overlap. For instance, only set cards can be cold foiled, only set cards can be marveled, not like Magic, where the base point of every card is now 6 types. To grasp that every single card in Magic has 6 types, or baseline 6 types. I know, obviously, not every common and uncommon card does, but my case in point, I've just gone to Phyrexia. Sheldred's Edict, however you pronounce it. 4 variants. It's got foil, normal. It has etched, non-foil, so just the dark border, and then I would assume that's etched foiled. What about common cards? Common cards, all the lands have way too many. Adaptive Spore Springer has 2, that's fine, that's good. Ooh. Experimental Augury has 4. Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make, no matter how you look at it, Magic and Hasbro, they are continuously bombarding the player with an exuberant product lineup. So there are way too many different variations for you to actively understand what is right for you anymore. Because set is meant to obviously collect the set. That's not the case, because collectors is to collect the set / get the rarest versions, which you need to do because there are just too many different variations of each card. And it is just so hard to grasp whether you're a player or a collector, the right mentality to have anymore. Because you not being able to digest information about the game and stay up to date and relevant, it's becoming a full-time job. That's the type of mentality that they're creating for you to understand every card that's coming out and how it affects you as a collector. What chase varieties am I going after? Because there's no such thing as lottery, because everything's a crappy version of a lottery card. And then for a player, you have to understand the mechanics introduced in every set that is coming every 1 to 2 months to make sure that your deck is relevant, current, and still viable. And this mentality is just going to continue to burn out their player base quicker than they can restock it with, the different IPs like Lord of the Rings. Because the amount of players that Lord of the Rings brings in versus the amount of people that it honestly turns off and just leads them to developing the mentality of just buying the sets they want rather than participating in every lineup is going to impact Magic. Every choice they have been making, regardless of the quality of the sets they come out, are having an impact and toll on the community because they are just wearing us down over and over again. It doesn't matter how good a set is. There's just so many issues with it, so much bloat with it, that it's just hard to move on to the next one. And we saw this with sets in previous years. There were very well-crafted sets that people generally agree on, and just set after set after set wore them down. Yeah. What is Magic's Rarity identity? That's what I'll leave you with. What is it to you? Is it just getting the most expensive card in the list? Set type? I mean, I used to have folders of going after, the quote-unquote lottery cards. I wanted the time-shifted cards from Time Spiral. I wanted the invocations from I'm Kllooooyy and Our Devastation. I'm not great with names. The stuff from Kaladesh, you know what I mean. And now it's just, I don't want these different versions of cards because it's just a complete headache. And I mean, if you want to understand it, go to this. Go to not the card archive. We go back. I should be able to get to it. The product list on MTG. Is it going to let me? No. You can go to the product list for MTG, and then you can find the card list for each set. And this is the white paper for it, so it has all the card numbers and the variations, and you can just scroll down. You can see card main set, card main set, card main set. Oh, card panorama full art basic. Okay, card for Phyrexianize basic. Okay, so there's 3 variations, and I know they probably both come in foil, so that's 6 variations for the land. Oh wait, there's standard as well. Oh no, that's fine. And then there's promo, and then there's the complete bundle. Oh, Phyrexian Arena got. Oh, that's in the complete bundle. So that's probably what's giving it its chunk of value. Ica Showcase, and the fact that they don't stick with the same terminology either is even worse. So we have the Ica Showcase, which I assume is like the Dark Black Showcase. If we go to Brothers War, they're different versions, mech lands, extended art frames. This one's not so bad, but there is the Jumpstart as well. Dominaria, main sets, basic, stained art, showcase, eclipsed stained glass, orderless, extended art. It's costing them nothing. They can create their rarity through their printing. They don't need to fabricate a rarity to instill in us something is rare. And it would save them money. Because they would have to manufacture less. They would have to set up less infrastructure to print these specialized types. Honestly, wouldn't you much rather just the traditional standard foil? In fact, they could get rid of standard foil. They could just replace it with, not etched, because I'm not really a big fan of etched. They could pick a special foiling for each set. That would be fine too, as long as there's this distinction of each set. So you have your normal cards, you have a specialized foil for the set, and then you have a really special set. So there's still, 5 to 6 variations of most cards, but at least it's digestible, at least it has a formula to it, at least it's not just random mismatch crap output in each set that you now have to look up, understand, or just watch someone else deal with it because it's too much of a headache for you.